Data analytics gives you the advantage of getting to answer questions in a faster time. In esports, you have a topic where all those technologies can be applied with an actual great purpose.
We are all tied up to start our day 1-1, and also when we're looking at this group, this is probably the matchup that's going to determine who the number one truly is. My name is Rich. I'm going to be your host, and I'm joined on the desk right now by Gods and Black. And you know what? Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. You guys are criticizing the draft quite hard in the back when we're watching the matchup from EHOME. So what went wrong in your mind?
You've got what? Husker, Nature's Prophet, Drow is your three cores. Who makes plays? Who brings team fight? Everything's like, let's single target, right-click some people. That's not going to work.
I mean, the lineup can only work if you're ahead in all three lanes, which obviously they weren't because they lost like pretty much all three lanes.
You're not going to beat a Lich Jug as well in lane. So.
That's the other big mark that I think we really do need to take a look at, and it is going to be the strength of that combo. You mentioned it right away, Black. Is this a combo that we think we can see throughout the entirety of the tournament?
I mean, I've been scrimming for a couple of weeks now, and the combo is just... I still haven't found a counter to it. Like, whenever those two are there, you either want to just, like, avoid it or just try to farm, you know? There's no way you can actually fight the lane properly head-on. And we can definitely expect it to get picked up more or maybe even banned more. We saw Lich being banned in the first game, but then it got through in the second and instantly got picked up. So we're probably going to see it banned in the third game. And yeah, I don't know how other teams prioritize it, but the combo itself is amazing.
Yeah, a lot of notable things definitely do happen in that second game. I know in the back a lot we're looking at Ramsey's revenge, right? After we see what goes down in the first game, he's able to kind of invoke that revenge. But what do we expect in the third game right now after we've seen this series now going the distance?
I think more of the same with VP's approach to the early game, which is, you know, have these stronger lanes. Don't just... Ramsey's 1v1 in the Jug Dark, so yeah, it can go better. And I think that matchup isn't meant to be lost the way it was, but end of the day, Ramsey's a guy who normally gets enabled by his team. He doesn't get left alone during the laning stage. His team, his supports need to give him that good start, and then Ramsey's plays well when he can play like alone on the map with an advantage. He doesn't play as well alone on equal terms.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why no one is taking the mid lane, not him. I'm not saying Ramsey is bad, but like his 1v1 is definitely not as polished as no one's. Or
for sure.
Even Faith Beyond, because off lane nowadays gets to play a lot of 1v1, so they have a lot more practice than these carry players for sure.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at some of the moments from game number 2 right now and try to unpack not only what happened in this game, but also take that look ahead, because we are going to decide this series in game 3 very shortly here. But for anyone who maybe missed game number 2, what do they need to be thinking about, Gods?
The Faith Beyond feed reel.
Yeah.
So there's a Faith Beyond death. There's another. I mean, he was the player who stood out in game 1. He was the Darkseer that really exploded and went off and gave EHOME a massive advantage. This game, he got destroyed in lane. I'd love to see him have a better time. And for VP, I think it's, you know, don't give EHOME those good lanes once again.
Yeah, I would just like to see a way better draft from EHOME, honestly.
Yeah, why
like,
they
give them playmakers.
Like, I'm so surprised by the Husker pick, and I was even more surprised by the Drow pick.
In the minor already, I said when they picked this Kling's Drow, this lineup is terrible. They only won because they outclassed the opponents heavily. But if it's even, or the enemy's even maybe a bit better than you, this kind of lineup is not going to work, because you have way too many weaknesses. A draft is supposed to address like everything. Like, you're supposed to cover all the bases. They literally just covered one, which is like pure single target DPS. And this doesn't really work in high-level Dota, so I just expect a better draft from EHOME. Give the playmaker players you have, like Faith Beyond, like ASD, actual playmaking heroes, and they'll make it work for you.
Yeah, EHOME, of course, taking that minor, getting their spot here in the major. Are we seeing more of the same, though, with their draft? Is that kind of what you're getting at here, Black? Because you talked about their draft before we even started off this tournament.
I think they got away with a lot of things they shouldn't have at the minor, so it kind of was... I mean, it was good for them there, of course, because they won, but now it shows why it's actually not that good, because these high-level teams, they will exploit it. They won't just let you get away with it. And they will definitely have to polish their draft a lot more, because obviously what works against teams that you beat at the minor won't work against these like top-class teams.
Yeah, Gods, do you think they're going to need to start changing how they approach draft?
Yeah, going at least with honing in on what's like your most stable and your safest go-to drafts, because the unpredictable nature of drafting that we've seen from EHOME can sometimes work for them, but when you're versing these teams like VP, Secret, the Liquids, EG, whoever, you know, those top teams as well, the LGDs, these are teams where you have to have a very like I think, small list of heroes that are you want to prioritize, just because you can't play everything in Dota. There's too many heroes. You're not going to be perfect on everything, and I think some of their ideas, like this draft, are just not quite on point.
Yeah, and in Dota you can definitely win by draft sometimes, but let's say you play a best of 5 grand final, you're not going to outdraft the opponent 3 times in a row. You will have to play the standard draft, and you will have to play it better than your opponent if you want to really win.
Well, we have to look at the entire series top down too, because we have 2 very different games right now taking us the distance to the game 3. So what is really that main factor? Is it the draft that gives us such a volatile series overall, Black?
I mean, I personally feel like in game 1, the draft was quite even for me. There was just like a couple of individual mistakes from Virtus.pro's side, and they looked quite vulnerable. But when VP looked vulnerable, they still look better than when EHOME looked vulnerable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I totally see what you're trying to go for there. And with VP, too, even with those mistakes, there were still a lot of positives to say, even if when you're looking at the farming, saying they're still coming out and farming efficiently, they start to narrow the gap, even though they had fallen so far behind at the beginning of game 1. But when we do see EHOME look bad in game number 2, it stays kind of bad. So how do we actually change things up in game 3? Do you think that now we really see Virtus.pro start to run away with this?
Yeah, I think that's probably the expectation. I mean, VP came into this series and this tournament as favorites, period. They're just a world-class team. They won the last major. They won more majors than any other Dota 2 professional team out there with good reason. But for game 3, I think for EHOME, this is where you kind of have to look to your coach, to Zhao, and just he's the guy that kind of needs to put you back on track, both, motivating his team, but also draft-wise, as we've been touching upon, give yourself the best chance to beat VP.
I really do think it is important, too, to go back to what Black said, though, because in Game 1, when you look at the problems, it almost seemed like it was just an individual thing with Virtus.pro, right? It came down to just what was happening on the map, what they were actually doing, and they resolved that in Game number 2. So does that put an extra amount of stress on this draft?
Certainly. I think if they have an even draft, I would definitely give the edge to VP.
Yeah.
So they will have to out of them a little bit, in my opinion, to really be able to take it to them. And we have seen it in game 1. I think the VP draft was quite good, but it had like a couple of weaknesses, especially early game, that were exploited heavily by EHOME, obviously. But if they have an even draft, I would definitely give the edge to VP.
Do you feel the same way here?
Yep, I do. VP is just, these guys are world class. EHOME themselves have some great players. But with TI winners, Faith Beyond as well as Y, but they've also got some of the new blood who's kind of yet to prove themselves. And as a team, I think EHOME's on this very upwards trajectory where they just keep getting better and better. They're improving very rapidly, but they still have a bit of a ways to go to reach a VP's caliber.
Yeah, it's 2 completely different stories, right? Even based off of how these teams get here. Obviously, you have one that's won the only other major of the year, and then you have a team that had to go through that process of the minor. They win the minor, and now they make it into the second major here for a CQ major. It's a different story. So these guys, obviously, you look at them with a very different mindset.
Just a bit of a background, though. Like, the actual major qualifier to get into this major here, they almost beat LGD, who's obviously here, and they almost beat VG as well. Like,
they were, very close to actually qualifying to the major.
Yeah.
They were in that 4-team playoffs at the end. So.
Yeah. So them winning the minor was actually, a lot of people kind of expected it, because they went like toe-to-toe with like the TI second place. They almost crushed them out of the qualifier, so.
Yeah. Within China, they've been doing incredibly well against those teams that everyone knows. LGD, Vici Gaming, Aster, consistently. Yeah. VP didn't actually have the most convincing qualifier either. They lost to Nopengo, went through in second place fairly convincingly, but still, it wasn't like the smooth sailing you normally expect from VP.
Yeah.
Now we're going to be jumping into our draft here. We already know just how much stress is going to be on this one in particular. We've talked about it quite a bit. All tied up here in the first series of the day. We're still in group stages. We're looking at Group A.
Yeah, we see Lich banned out and Magnus banned out, the 2 enablers for Ramsey's last game.
It's one of those reactionary drafts where it's like, okay, we just lost this. We're in a game 3 decider. Let's just ban it out. It's to me, it's when I see that, I'm like, well, it's probably the right thing to do, but also it says you don't have an answer to it.
I just feel Lich is so strong right now. It offers like a lot of team fight. It's so hard to lane against. It's a very strong laner now with like 2 incredible abilities, even 3. If you get this like, how's it called? Sinister gaze.
Sinister gaze.
Let's pull you in.
Your sound effects have been phenomenal today.
Oh yeah, I've been hired by Valve actually, but I kind of denied because I declined because I obviously they want to have a player career, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
It takes too much time to go there and record all the sounds for all the heroes, you know.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
Quite tiring as well, you know. I'm a very busy man.
Yeah. I mean, you really do need to focus on your goal right now when TI.
Exactly.
I totally understand.
As we all know.
I totally understand.
Panel, TI, the connection is right there. I'm making it no matter what.
I mean, we had to beg you to be on the panel. You're just helping us out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. I do my part to make the world better.
No, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm forever in your debt.
You're welcome.
I'm forever in your debt, Black.
Thank you.
I have a good feeling about how this weekend's going to go. So.
It's going to go great.
Yeah.
First pick Medusa again.
Yeah, so first pick Medusa. This is something that we talked about in game number 1. Even in game number 1, even though it didn't necessarily bear any fruit, Medusa still did seem like a very strong pick.
Yeah, I don't think there was any second guessing the Medusa, in my opinion. It was more just everything built around it, the way the lanes went, that kind of fell apart. This time, EHOME immediately addressed it. They say, you're going to get Medusa, we're going to pick Anti-Mage. We're going to have this timing where if our Anti-Mage has a good start, we can just crush the game. And I like Anti-Mage more this game than game 1 when they didn't pick it, because it's also great against the Coddle.
Yeah. Okay. And what a lot of people don't know, AM middle actually can beat a Medusa 1v1. I don't know if you will see it here, but it's a very potent lane.
Beat a Medusa or lane against
You
Medusa?
actually beat it because like you can't get snaked. If like throw the snake on a creep and it bounces on you, you activate spell shield, it won't drain your mana. And it doesn't actually give mana back to Medusa.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a weird mechanic that I don't know why it works. And it shouldn't work, but it's Dota 2.
Sure.
Lots of things work.
You still get mana back from the range creep though.
From the range creep, yeah. If it hits you, but like level 1 snake, for example, only hits 3 targets. Level 2 snake, only 4 targets. So you gotta be quite selective with how you do it. And of course you can burn your mana as well. It's not an easy lane for Medusa.
So how do you expect them to try to build around Medusa right now?
Some Beastmaster stuff, some
Auras,
aura carriers, some innate heroes that really just beef up the Medusa. I think, anything that can build your Vlads, Pipes, Crimson Guards, something to lock people down, which is where Beastmaster now gets banned out. That would have been, I think, the obvious go-to for them. Sven also just good because you have the Warcry. If you ever get an Ag Scepter, that's a lot of damage, so EHOME's bans kind of make sense here.
Yeah, with Medusa you kind of just want to have 3 heroes. I think in the first game they kind of had a good recipe already. They had like a Dusa, 3 heroes to support the Dusa, and then you have like 1 more semi-carry and the Juggernaut that you kind of need to push towers as well as just secure the late game, because the Dusa late game is not going to do it alone. And I'm actually surprised that EHOME, why do you think they changed things? Because they beat the Dusa so convincingly game 1. Do you think they had to go like
They got Medusa with which hero back in game 1?
There was a Sven.
Medusa Sven, okay.
Yeah.
And I think they feel that VP, if they're going to first to Medusa again, that they're going to make an adjustment. So they don't want to give maybe VP the same draft in a way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think you just feel concerned that if you do the same thing, this is VP you're talking about. This isn't like a tier 2 team that you can't just expect to beat them without them making adjustments.
Yeah, for sure.
How are we feeling so far, though, overall with what EHOME's been doing? This was obviously the team where it's kind of on them in this draft to really knock this one out of the park. Are we feeling strong with them?
Too soon to tell, probably. We don't really know the lane matchups a bit, whether AM can have a good time, since that's the hero that can win them the game right now. They're looking to build around this timing where Anti-Mage comes online with his 2-3 big items and can completely take Medusa out of the game. But getting there is going to be the challenge.
They're going quite hard on the Dusa counters. Obviously, now you have the mana drain as well. Lots of disables.
Are you picking Lion just for mana drain, though?
Probably not.
I think Lion's a good hero, mana drainer.
It's overall, overall good. Obviously, like the best disable on all of Dota. And the lane is not the strongest. Like AM Lion is not a great lane.
Yeah, but you also, Coddle or Rubik, are they heroes that can pressure AM?
Rubik is quite good because it's just so hard to actually man-fight a Rubik lane. Let's say you have like a Rubik plus a melee hero. You just reduce the damage so much that you're always feeling heavily pressured. But the support duo of Coddle Rubik is a bit awkward to me. I don't like it too much.
Seems a bit weird because they're both really forced. Like I think they're going to probably put Solo on the keeper to protect the safe lane and put that, like you say, Rubik +1 off lane with some kind of tanky melee frontliner.
Yeah, I realized recently, like when I was playing a lot, the issue is when you don't have a position for the roams, you don't have like an Earth Spirit or something similar like that. It's so hard to move around the map, and if you lose lanes, you actually can't really get back into the game if you have no one that can properly move around the map. Because like Rubik can do it, but it's not great at it.
Just don't lose your lanes, Black.
Yeah, just don't lose your lanes. Easy
I mean, you've got Medusa mid. That's the other thing. Like if you lose your lanes and have a tough time with a Medusa mid, you're in a lot of trouble because that Medusa is just going to go back to Ancients and want to farm, you're not going to have any kind of a playmaker. But what are we looking
Just
for?
a bit scared for VP here. Obviously, the lanes aren't weak,
Yeah.
but if they somehow lose the lanes, the comeback potential is very minimal.
Imagine they
With
pick
this kind of
some,
run.
Centaur type hero here, maybe.
Yeah, they
I
need
like Centaur just because he bullies the AM a bit with the Retaliate in lane.
Centaur Rubik is amazing.
Yeah. That lane sounds scary. It gives you a fast-paced playmaker to make space for Medusa.
What about Starladder? I've seen him up and coming recently.
Oh, against Anti-Mage, it's great. Tide instead, though.
Tide Hunter.
A bit more cooldown. I feel like this is less fast-paced than the Centaur or the Starladder that we're talking about. It's way better for that like mid-game 5-man when Medusa gets her items, but
Also, like, weak on
I
the lane.
prefer the faster pace options, but obviously VP has a different idea.
Yeah, they're going like a lot of all-in on team fight. They have like the Will-O-Wisp, they have the Ravage, they have the Stone Gaze.
Yep.
But the AM could potentially have a very good lane because Tide doesn't pressure AM too much.
The Gush is pretty powerful. Like,
Yeah.
like we're almost mostly seeing those level 1 Gushes from Tide now.
It's just if you're ever out of mana, you feel so bad as a Tide Hunter. The aim is just going to free farm then. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just way less of a lane bully and not something where you think AM's going to have a really tough time.
Yeah, it's a setup for the mid game.
So leaves things pretty open. We could also see VP go aggro Triland. They could just be picking the Tide for a 1v1 matchup and
That's
put
possible.
Rubik, Coddle plus Ramsey's hero against the anti-mage, and then you really do shut him down or put pressure on the AM.
And then you have like a Tide against a Tiny something like that, which is completely one-sided for the Tide Hunter.
Yeah.
Tide Hunter crushes all these meter lineups. Clings.
Ah.
So they're probably going to put the Clings against the Tide Hunter. At least
You don't think they want Clink's mid against Dusa? Oh, you're still on the anti-mage mid train.
I mean, it's just like I don't know. It's gonna be hard for them if they don't lane the Clings against the Tide. They don't really have many options to beat the Tide. But at the same time,
you need
Clink's
to beat the Tide, I don't think.
and Clink's middle is way better for sure.
Yeah, Clink's.
But I'm a bit scared for the AM then too. Like, where do you put them? You kind of have to match him against the Tide
I think
Hunter.
you
then.
want, yeah, if you get AM versus Tide and Clink's mid versus Medusa, those are at least decent lane matchups for EHOME.
I'm actually not too familiar with the mechanic. Does Strafe dodge the snake completely or not? Because if it doesn't, it's not great. If it does,
don't
it's
know.
really good.
Yeah, it's a projectile, so in my head it should, but I remember there was one event where Adam were like testing Strafe with like every projectile spell and how it worked.
Yeah, some worked, some didn't work. Yeah.
It's one of those weird ones, but
All right. Yeah. So we'll figure it out after the game. We'll know how it works if they lane it.
Darkseer, Faith Beyond's here are banned out.
Yep.
I'm expecting 4-position Tiny to come out again. Could be. Did Faith Beyond play much Tiny when?
He did
minor?
at the mana, yeah.
Okay.
One of the best Tiny performances probably. They played it at position 2, 3, and 4.
I think they need him on a playmaker. Like Clink's anti-mage. That was the issue they had last game. Is they had 3 cores, none of which go around making plays, gank, or do anything. So putting him on the Tiny, or at least something similar that can, like the Centaur type heroes that can come online and create space, is important to me.
They need a team fight as well. Like a Brewmaster, like a Centaur, or something like that.
Like I don't think the Darkseer would have been that amazing for them because it just limits what they can do.
Yeah, I agree. But they had a
So-
bad experience.
How?
I mean,
I haven't seen Bristol. Is this hero good?
Bristol is not a bad hero, but it just feels
Yeah.
like who's gonna be the playmaker for them?
It's the
Is it the Lion
the
or
support,
what? Tiny?
the supports again. And last game we saw how that worked out. It can work out if you have a good start with the lanes, but if your lanes go badly, then the game is just lost because your playmakers are supports, and you need cores to come online if you're playing from
What are
behind.
we looking for Ramses here?
Kind of Silver Edge buyer.
There's not many heroes that are super great against Bristol. Something like a Slark or something. I don't know.
The Jug's still there, I think.
Yeah, Jug is alright, but there's
not
Clinks
bad.
and BB, a bit annoying. I don't think there's a perfect pick for him here.
Yeah.
They will just have to complement the Medusa, because if Medusa goes late here, it's gonna be very hard for them.
I feel like that Bristle is the most surprised I've seen you guys all day.
Yeah, I mean we were looking for like a stunner, a playmaker, and then they pick a Bristol, who is literally the opposite of that. So they go back for the Juggernaut again.
How do you like this?
I mean Juggernaut's just a
Comfort,
good all-round hero, yeah.
Ramses is good on the hero, even though he wasn't that good on game 1, but he's always played a lot of Jug, so.
The Bristol is quite good against the Tide though, 1v1. You can definitely play that lane.
Okay.
Whereas most other heroes really can't. Like you can't put a Tiny against a Tide.
Yeah.
Not gonna work.
You haven't got that great lane partner in the Lich with the Jug, but like Rubik Lift is okay at least. If you're going for that kind of aggro tri lane that we may see.
So you're expecting VP to go aggro trialing against the AM.
It seems like we're seeing a lot more tri lanes right now. That to me is where the meta has shifted a bit over the last month or so. Like Gambit really started with some of their Visage tri lanes, and a lot of other teams I think caught on that. Tri lanes are maybe coming back a bit.
This Bristol could work out really well if they can do like a 2-1-2 or something, because Juggernaut against Bristol is not great.
Yeah, but do you think that Bristol is more meant to be 1v1 against Tide?
I think so. To kind of prepare for the aggro trialing.
That seems one where they're just going to trade farm a bit, or Bristol should at least do not too bad.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, this draft is kind of... It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
We need to figure out who actually is going to be kind of favored just based off the draft. Do want to note, though, our analytics partner throughout the entire weekend is SAP, and now we have the job of actually taking that data and trying to be analytical and trying to figure out who comes out on top of this draft. Who do we actually think is going to be going to take the entire series?
Going first?
I went first the last 2 times.
No, I went first last game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you did. We went 1 each. Okay.
Yeah.
Black,
I let you go first because you led me in the right direction, whereas I misled you in game 1.
Okay, thank you. I think... Wait, we're expecting aggro trial? I don't know. I just don't see it for EHOME. Like, their playmakers are both supports. The blink they got on Tiny is going to come very late. The line is not really going to be in range to do much. If they really... no, I just don't see it. I'm going to go VP.
Yeah, we're gonna go VP, 3rd game in a row. I think same reasons where you've got 3 cores who don't make plays. The way it works for EHOME is if those lanes do go well. Like if your Bristol wins his 1v1 against a Tide, or if your lanes go well, your support Tiny suddenly gets a fast Blink Dagger and things should go actually quite smoothly for you. But that's a big if against a team like VP who plays the early game so well.
Okay. So now we're in that situation where we're expecting VP to be able to close this out. It is down to the wire here. This will decide this series, and this is going to have a huge impact on all of Group A. We're ready to jump into the action. We got Kyle and Toby to cast all of it.
That is right. We are here ready for game number 3. And, well, what a way to draft. What a way to start. What a way to pick a hero 3 times in a row. Ramses, I think he had a request for this.
He may have. And shout out to the panel picking VP 3 times in a row. Real brave, guys.
Yeah.
Real strong analytical skills.
And actually, Black going against his anti-mage. Like, what is this? Like, does he not see the power of EHOME? We'll talk about him in a second, because EHOME are 5-man smoking. The Observer Ward down, which means they actually see the Kotl and the Juggernaut both standing on the hill, so they're going to back off from the fight.
Really good play by VP, though, to sniff out potential smoke aggression from EHOME. And 2 quick points. So first, I think EHOME actually is a bit of a draft advantage here. It's certainly close, but I bring up something Synderen said. We saw this at the minor as well, this EHOME 2nd pick AM into Adusa first 2. And he's like, I look at this draft, and I think if I know the enemy team is an anti-mage, how do we end up with this? Because Tide and Jug are not traditionally heroes that are very good against an anti-mage. I just don't know how I feel about it.
Ramsey's able to claim that top rune, still on the run out. He's got a lot of core stacks on him. That's 4. Now make that 5. And a couple more sprays through the work, so Solo has to start the body block up. No other choice, but it's that bonus damage you're getting from the burning arrows that's just coming in from the Clinks that does so much work. Solo will fall. The bounty runes ended up being split out 2-2 as well.
Yep. And the cool thing about Bristol, so big changes in this last patch. Your strength gain went from 2.2 per level to 2.5, which is pretty significant when you consider the way this hero works. And your back, your Bristle back now functions on towers, which is really important if you ever look to dive. It also gives you that potential bonus Quill Spray a lot easier because the towers do so much damage. And again, you have Clinks and Bristle against Jug. I look at this VP lineup and I feel like, once again, if they don't get out to some early lead, how are you going to utilize this massive team fight of Kotl Tide?
I also want to flag, too, just the change-up of the Clinks. A lot of the Clinks that we saw during the minor, Innocence should be okay. A lot of the Clinks we saw in the minor were all cores. This one is support. This one is actually being run in combination with the Tiny in the offlane, and it feels almost like a more efficient Zeus. Bringing him into the lanes with just these spamming of searing arrows, forcing Pasha out. And this is 3 Mangos and Tangos, and Pasha can't stand in the lane anymore.
That is really cool, because Clinks, you crush a Tide. You hit so hard on this hero, and I don't actually know if Pasha is going to be able to lane too well against this. I'm surprised, however. I can't believe it's core Tiny support Clinks. I've never seen this before. But they're crushing this Tide.
Something new, something different. Just like you can look towards ASD, who leveled up Blink as opposed to leveling up Spell Block. This is what, like, I'm fairly certain EHOME have actually already done this during the minor.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a misclick, but the spell block against the Deuce just makes that lane so much better for the AM.
Yes, sure, but he gets it now, and look, no one's out of mana. I mean, he just played aggressive, and we don't need to spell block anything if the enemy can't cast spells.
True.
Every game is different, Toby. It's all situational.
God, Pasha just wants to stand this lane, but like, how can you be in range to Anchor Smash and stop Faith Beyond from getting like never-ending CS? Is like, how many times do you see a melee versus melee lineup being affected so much by this Clink's top lane? Trouble for Ego. Spin from Ramsey's really, really good. Impossible to control him when he's underneath the tower. Nothing the Lion can really do to stop him.
This is okay, though, if you're EHOME. You expect to lose this top lane. It's a 2v3. But it gets hard to dive Bristle once he hits higher levels. And at a certain point, you mess up once and he gets that nice double kill we've seen so often in these turnaround tower dives. That's it for your top lane, and EHOME just starts running away with it. And I really like this because it also ensures they'll be able to keep this tower alive for longer because you can sit somebody fat like Bristle instead of the Prophet from the previous game.
Rotations coming in from the Clinks. He's got the Arcane Rune, so looking to spam out as much as he can against no one. He's got little to no mana, has not leveled up the shield. He's holding the point. Now he will level up the shield. Top spin once more. Ego taking a lot of damage from just the two supports working together. Roger's going to be careful with the 6 Cool Spray stacks on him, but when the Illuminate spam comes in, Bristle thought he had a potential for a kill. Rubik, he's lost the stacks, and VP will back up safely. But Clinks is still waiting for this attack in mid. And that's why blink forward, jump in with ASD, a body block up from Tieng. Will not, no, he's back into Invis and no one has to sit there wondering if he can have a sentry ward. Oh boy, that damage output. And they'll fortify as well. Keeps the top creep wave alive, allowing VP's dive to be even stronger. Innocence is dead once again and Bristleback has to hide in the tree lines.
Works out, though, because that means the Lion will be able to bring him some more regen. Or no, sorry, he won't. Oh, no, there it is. Okay, I was hoping. It's something that is cool. Whenever doing these 2-on-3 scenarios, it's actually quite fine to trade deaths for enemy health and mana because you're able to ferry regen to your ally. And mid lane.
Yep, they're going again. There's not enough mana, however, on the Clinks. He ran out, and now the Fade Bolt. Roger arrives to kill secure. Spell block from the Anti-Mage, but there's not enough mana for a telekinesis. Now there is with stick charges, but AM will just pick up the regen rune in bottom river.
Nice. He's got the Orb of Venom as well, so he's going to look to continue just playing very aggressive onto no one who once again is out of mana. Bottom lane tied, only level 3, Faith Beyond, looking to snowball. 24-19, that's effectively almost 30 CS in 5 minutes because of the bonus gold you get on denies now. And
it's the speed of the Blink Dagger too. Like I think it was Black who was mentioning on the panel saying like he just didn't know how Faith Beyond would be able to actually reach the Blink Dagger timing that he needed. This is one way to do it. They're battling for the 5-minute runes, and it looks like Roger's going to lose his life on the bottom one for it. He used telekinesis to throw Faith Beyond away. But yeah, the Clinks was there to rotate and support and give a high amount of damage. But this is what I'm worried about for Virtus.pro's lineup. Keeper of the Light, we saw so many times just instantly exploded by a Tiny. How does he stay alive in the engagements? And then you've got this support Clinks who can add a lot of extra damage in. And it can just be, like, I'm not even saying this from the Burning Army. Like, this isn't a Death Pact Clink. This isn't like the old Clinks of days. But we've seen how effective he's been against no one, how effective he's been against Tidehunter.
it's cool, too, because it's one of the things I love seeing against heroes like Medusa, like Meepo, that want to just get a certain level and then just farm the jungle unaccosted. Clinks and other Invis heroes do a great job of scouting them out, finding stacks, potentially setting up ganks. It's really effective, especially when you consider that their other support is a Lion, who we can see Innocence wrapping all the way around mid.
That's such a long wrap. The Courier's coming in for the mid lane, trying to bring extra items to no one but the Searing Arrows.
Stun.
This was meant to be Virtus.pro being aggressive. Roger, he already rotated around the side. Blinding Light will push him back. Roger's got some movement speed. And thanks to the pushback on both Innocence and the Clinks, they just can't keep up. But okay, pick him up, and Searing Arrows, what a nice haste rune to have. Play around the edges. And now there's trouble for the Clinks. No ability to go invis. You go up the hill. The Illuminate spam will be able to get the kill. And then Solo, running very low on mana. One more attack will do the job, but then he's got support troubles. Innocence can't stay with him. A blink up, the Mystic Snake will follow ASD up towards the shrine.
He didn't
burn it, but wait, no! didn't counterspell. Roger just hits him with the Fade Bolt. The Shrine's completely useless. They Blinding Light quickly, but Clinks, okay, well, that is actually a bit of a problem. He needs to hit with more Searing Arrows than that to get the kill on Roger. EHOME, I don't know if this is nervous on the major stage, but they need to get their young ones in line.
He could have counterspelled the Snake. He could have counterspelled predicting the Rubik once he walked into Vision. Just ends up feeding away that kill. And I mean, what could have just been a free kill on Roger, he manages to turn into, what was that? Was that 3 kills? They killed everybody, didn't they?
I think that was 3. Yeah, solo. Yeah, yep, all 3 died. All 3 died.
Well, meantime, though, Faith Beyond gets a solo kill on Pasha bottom, so they get a little something. And you got to hope for a repeat of Game 1 performance from Faith
They
Beyond.
managed to get this kill on Pasha, but Faith Beyond's thrown back by Roger. Clinks needs to properly commit to this, but now Ramsey's arriving, going with the Omni Slash, chances down. He actually spreads his Omni Slash across all 3 heroes, but then the isolated Lion dies. That's probably the best scenario for EHOME, because they don't want Faith Beyond to go down. He's so close to finishing that Blink Dagger, and that's going to be that aggression that VP need to be able to counter.
It's a really interesting game so far. I mean, you've got Ego now able to recover top, and that's the downside of this Jug TP, where all of a sudden you go from heavily punishing the Bristle to just sort of in the safe lane, and you don't really match up the same way against a level 7 Tiny. And look at this, again, the Clinks finding the Coddle, another hero that Clinks is so good against. These Rubik Coddle heroes are so susceptible to being found out by the Invis.
And with that double damage and the Searing Arrows level 2, they just burn through the Keeper of the Light so quickly.
Yep.
Didn't even take a second spell from Faith Beyond, just held on to the toss.
By the way, it's 2,400 gold on Faith Beyond.
Sure.
I think you might just want to go like a straight Echo Saber here to ensure you keep scaling. I think it might be a little early to get a Blink Dagger.
Instead of just keeping the hunt going?
You want it, I mean, it goes both ways. I can understand a Blink, especially when you have a hero like Clinks that you can capitalize on, because he's just a walking ward. He finds you one of these squishy supports. And actually, you know what? I take that back. Coddle, Rubik, they both immediately die to a combo, and they will the entire game if Faith Beyond keeps up this pace.
He TPs towards top lane. He's already burnt the Shrine. He'll pick up the Blink Dagger, and they are looking for top lane fights.
Yep.
Like, if Solo reveals himself, not even just Solo,
Pasha.
Pasha would be enough. Avalanche, toss him up. He's dead before he hits the ground.
The one downside of this Rush Blink, though, is that if you look at Faith Beyond, he has no way to stay on map. And that's the downside of playing Tiny in this way. Because if you don't find that kill, there's now nothing really for him to do. He's going to be just wasting time looking to find more heroes until he's able to afford either a bottle or maybe just a bunch of Clarities.
Okay, they're pinging out. They know where Innocence is. He walked underneath an Observer Ward to come down to the bottom lane. So just a quick healing ward up. But no Tiny went top, so there's no support there. They pick up the Clinks. Roger moving around the Vision, and now perfect dusting up. He knew exactly what was going to happen in this scenario. Ramsey cannot be controlled once he spins. The Feybolt damage is enough. And Clinks is not a tanky hero. Not with that Death Pact. And even for the runes, Innocence just gets Omni Slash down. So this is fantastic for Virtus.pro. A lot of bounties across the board.
And what's most important, I think, is that both Ramses and No One are off to good starts. And it just, more than any other team in Dota, I feel like VP is very reliant on a good performance from both their 1 and their 2. You rarely see them take games where they have a scenario where one of them is just completely out of the game. It's just not that type of team. And right now, you're cool. Ramses 4-0, 3rd game in a row on Juggernaut, definitely warming up.
Yep. Trying to make this hero a little bit nicer. But there's still, I'm still worried that Virtus.pro are going to be battling against just some damage issues later on, because they won't be able to keep one of their supports alive. Roger's gone again for a blink in. He stole it from the anti-mage in mid lane. Jumps up and burns the dust on the Clinks. That's the last reveal he actually had on the Clinks, but they had the sentry a little bit shallower at that bottom lane.
And
Lion's coming for a fight. He just smoked up. I think he was in range of the Observer Ward when he went to do this. But it looks like it's actually his own warding mission.
he's so close to level 6. I'm surprised he didn't take a tome. Maybe he did use the tome already and just didn't quite get enough XP.
He's got 2 Obs Wars. He's not planning either of them. Didn't walk around for it. So they'll wrap around the back and bottom. And that's why Blink in, forward Avalanche toss.
Nice kill.
Rubik. This is these supports that just cannot survive, but they need the extra stun and control. They get the Hex out. You can even Mana Drain to offer a little bit more slow, but Faith Beyond. Toss coming off cooldown. Ramsey just TPs away to safety.
Another cool thing is this new Klinks, remember, he could be played more in this support 4 role because the ultimate is no longer about your auto attacks, but rather just, like, what is it, pseudo Rasta wards that...
Yeah, but they don't attack towers, though. That's the downside. Like, they're looking for heroes. They don't look at creep waves. They're looking for heroes. That's another fun steal for Rubik. We've seen Rubik's being played as cores in mid, but...
So
if they give Roger a little bit of space, he can do exactly the same builds as like the normal mids, which is this Yules into Ags.
Oh, no one in trouble. Double invis. They have the skeleton army ready.
They're right on top of him, and yep, there it comes down. They're all going to focus onto no one. Tries to get away, and maybe the Ignis buys that space. No one turns around quickly, and that's the reason why. Patra is there. Clips on 2 for the Ravage. Klinks wants to get away to safety. It will not happen. Roger's there to lend the Fade Bolt and find himself yet another kill. Until he dies to Faith Beyond. Jump forward. Good tree toss. Combining with the Mana Void. One more attack from ASD will do it. He's got a blink off cooldown in 1 second time. Solo.
Oh.
He actually tries to juke it, but the range of the blades is enough of ASD.
That was a really good positional play by Solo, though. And also, you can see the Searing Arrows, your level of Searing Arrows affects the level of Searing Arrows that your ultimate has. So this support, this support Klink, I guarantee we will see this again before this tournament is over. It's been too long since we had a roaming invis 4 position. Riki and Bounty Hunter
Bottom lane.
Pretty much going out of the meta.
Look at the match. Oh, wait. He didn't pop the finger.
How did he not think? Oh, he was in the air.
He was in the air. He didn't actually hit the target. Faith Beyond did more than enough damage, and now what have you got stolen? It's Earth Spike stolen. Faith Beyond's pushed back, and they'll commit the Omni Slash, and it's Faith Beyond who's the one who goes down to Ramses. It was meant to be the opposite way, and it's a big 6-time streak as well. Now they dive in deeper on top of the mid lane, maybe a little bit too deep from Pasha. But with the support of no one, he has confidence to do this, even without Ravage being available.
And if EHOME end up losing this series, I think that play is going to have to be the one we look at under a microscope, because you go from a kill on Ramses and taking his streak to giving away your tinies and a tier 1 bottom.
Innocence, boy! He just got hit by the set of Prowlers. They'll have enough control now to kill off Ramses, but Innocence will lose his own life for it. And it's going to be the Klinks who gets 807 gold for that kill.
But the thing is, you lose nothing as Ramses. You look at his unreliable gold, it's ticking all the way back up from 0 because he purchased that Demon Edge just before he went down.
Well, the mid tier 1 tower can potentially be denied. I don't think VP really want to let this happen. Klinks is waiting for the attack, but no one's got enough damage to get through it. And that was even without the double damage rune sitting in top river. And Faith Beyond, well, he's going to jump in. Goodbye support. This is just why Tiny is picked time and time again by the Chinese teams. They can delete the support before the fights begin. The Ignis, but then the Burning Army. Klinks gets it out. And Virtus.pro, they want to try and deal with this. But at the same time, the Klinks just on the edge of the river. The Ignis, Faith Beyond, another great avalanche toss. Pasha stunned up for too long, could not get the gush out, and Ravage was on cooldown for too long as well.
Whoa. Meanwhile, Anti-Mage using
mana void
mana voiding a creep to farm that stack a little faster.
All right. Well, bounties are up for 15 minutes. VP, they go in to try and take Roshan. With that double damage of Medusa, they are enabled to do so.
I like the way VP is playing this. They need to ensure they maintain aggression on the map. You've got to be afraid of the EHOME lineup scaling into the late game, especially when you consider your cores Reduce Jug up against this Anti-Mage. It's questionable. I feel like EHOME's been a bit off. I think VP certainly has been the better team in this series. They were just heavily outdrafted in that first game. But EHOME definitely can win this, but it's just tough. When your best player, Faith Beyond, is all of a sudden on this just hunt. All he can do is hunt. Yep. He's not been farming since he picked up this Blink Dagger. And that just scares me for this team.
Hello.
Oh, they see you.
Yeah, wait, how did he take... He was out of range at the mid tower. There's no sentry ward around yet. Yeah, all right. Klinks will take...
they saw Tiny walk down the low ground.
Okay. I saw an arrow fly out to Klinks and actually connected onto Klinks when he's inside of Skeleton Walk. Okay, I'm just going to put that down.
Spidey senses?
Maybe. Lion, dead. Doesn't even try and turn around. He had no Hex and Stun left available. So a very quick death for him. Way too many times is Ramsey just finding these support pickups against Innocence.
We were talking about Faith Beyond being ineffective, but bear in mind, the Tidehunter of Pasha, he's just been following around his Medusa. He's got the Vlads, and It's nice, but this hero is not going to be scaling anytime soon. He's just going to be a ravage in these team fights.
They're going to go up. They are definitely going to go up. 5 heroes together. Aegis the Immortal on the Juggernaut. And that's why the Klink's in the backline position. It's a good sentry ward. They actually see Klink's in the back lines, so they pick him up and throw him down, but Faith Beyond goes after Rubik, but his sick charges keep him alive, and the Ravage creates more space. Klink's is down, and Faith Beyond's caught on the wrong side of the tracks. Same thing could probably be said about the Juggernaut, but he's under the cover of the Ignis, so goodbye Innocence. He will fall. He gives over his Hex. That's going to be problematic for anyone that wants to jump in. The Ignis will finally wear out. Now remember, ASD is not joining this fight. He's pushing the bottom tower instead. Klinks tries to put the defense up with the Burning Army, but the Avalanche toss combo. Roger dies so much, and the damage on the Ramses is high enough that Ego can keep the pressure up, chasing after Virtus.pro. Faith Beyond has no more mana to keep the chase going, but bottom lane, Anime just not stopped yet. Now he will. Now he'll back up. As the rest of VP TP home.
That's about a 50-50 trade, I would say. You lose the tier 3 if you're EHOME, but there was no way you were going to be able to fight that, and you did get 2 towers bottom in the meantime. So I think you're okay with that as both sides. And bear in mind, EHOME, you have more cores than the side of Virtus.pro. Yes, it's Medusa Jug, but a lot of their timing is around this Ravage, the Vlads, and the Healing Ward. You can see they get these kills, and then they're all full health again, but they weren't able to break the base.
And now you get key items over on EHOME. You get the sustain coming in. You've got Hood Vanguard on the Bristleback. Tiny's already proved he can do so much damage. And you said he wanted an Echo Saber. He's got it now. So that's available. And AM is #1 on the net worth. Observers and sentries being planted. Nice blinding light. Solo will survive on 80 HP. A miss uphill as well. Sure, you'll take every bit of luck you got. And they smoke up quickly. Virtus.pro want to fight. They're looking for their own opening. Faith Beyond's got his own combo up. Ego's backing away. Is it really going to be Innocence to die again? 0-7 on this line. There has to be a point of diminishing returns, especially as ASD is once again split pushing. The tier 2 tower on top lane is being assaulted as Virtus.pro, they come inside the base. Innocence looks for the stun, not available. Ego tries to put himself between his support and that big core of the Juggernaut. The range rack's already down, and Animage is pushing high ground once again. If they can keep their melee racks alive right now, EHOME will be very happy. The core sprays are starting to stack up, and the backlines, there's your jump in. The Burning Army does the work as Rubik will fall. The melee racks has gone down, but now into the Omni Slash. Bristleback pulls Juggernaut in very, very deep, but then he also TPs away during the middle of his Omni Slash.
And spun?
And spun out, so there was no stun available. We must be seeing something different. Coddle's going to go down as EHOME at least managed to catch something out of this. They almost killed off the tier 3 tower up on top, but seriously,
hey,
what are we looking at?
I have no idea what happened. All I can talk about is what I know, and that's EHOME. Yes, they lose a Rex here. I'm not saying this is good for them, but this is what I think demonstrates that they are a team that's better than people expect, because they recognize we can't win a fight here. So, great teams, it's not about just capitalizing on your opportunities, it's limiting the damage. They know they're going to lose this Rax, but they get so much damage on that tier 3 top, and they get towers. That gold disparity didn't really shift, and they're still in a position where they can win this game. That next Roche fight is going to be everything.
They're hunting the Klinks, and perfectly found by Roger. They knew it because he took the 20-minute bounty rune. And Klinks, he'll go in Viz once again, but he will not survive for long enough for the dust to wear off.
And if I've got one criticism for Solo, it's that he's far too trigger happy when it comes to popping those smokes. I saw him use one when they went for that original tier 3 push. He just used it as they walked up high ground. And then they used another one to just get to the base for that push. They're now out of smokes, and that's big when you consider they've got a lot of vision that's yet to be placed, and that second Roche fight is going to be critical to determine who actually takes this series. 2 minutes, 30 seconds on a possible respawn. That's going to be what it comes down to. What's the AM got? Manta finished, Basher next. He's looking strong.
He's looking to be full late game guy. Yeah, I told you, man, like he's #1 net worth because he's farming all the side lanes. No one else in EHOME is actually finding this cash. And when the push comes in from Virtus.pro, they come as 5. They're all grouped up together. There's no efficiency farming across the map. I also like the fact that AM has been able to do this without going for the 400 blink range. He's still going to get the 0.25 second blink cooldown, of course, but he went for the 15 agility instead.
That means his pushing power and, most importantly, his Manta illusions are going to do a lot more damage. And bear in mind, though, his Tiny and his Bristle are falling off. They're effectively just sitting around being the big watermelons that they are and just catching creep waves where they can, trying to prevent the VP aggression. But AM is going to have to do a lot of the damage for EHOME to win these games. But thankfully, they have heroes like Lion, where if he's able to find any core target, I'm pretty sure ASD just takes him out.
If he can survive long enough.
True. Very true.
Innocence is 0-7-4. He is the lowest net worth on the field. It has been a very rough time for him in this game. I don't actually think I've seen a single finger.
I think he won. He's got no bonus damage, though, which is...
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah. That's meant to be like the new OP thing that you can run around with. The plus 50 bonus damage every single time there's a kill within 3 seconds of your finger of death hitting a target.
Yeah. And VP smoke again into this bottom lane. That has to be their last one. I've seen 3 now in the last 3 or 4 minutes, and I can't imagine they've got any more hidden away somewhere.
I don't know if we actually have that in the layer of stuff. If we have... oh, okay, Clinks tries to go for the solo kill over on Roger, puts the Burning Army down. Faith Beyond was a little bit too late to try and help out.
Yeah. That would be
they're
nice.
Bringing support in. Juggernaut. Oh, okay. Whoa. Began his TP out. They just want to run out. Blink forward by Pasha. And now Avalanche creates a little bit more space.
I mean, it's all just, you're talking about space. ASD is loving this. He is just constantly shoving anywhere that he can. And look at the wards now that EHOME have placed. They've got one defensive. They know that chances are VP is going to look to make plays around this tier 2 bottom. They get that ward solo placed as well.
Yep, that's the Observer Sentry.
Yep.
Like, if it wasn't for that, ASD probably would have just blinked himself away to go farm up a little bit shallower in his own area. But now they use Clinks. It almost feels like Clinks is also being used as like a bounty hunter.
Yeah, like, that's what he is.
Yep.
That's pretty much what the hero is, but he's got more team fight. He's going to have a defusal finished soon. And obviously there's no track, but I mean, you can kind of track him, you just follow him around.
Roshan's in 4 seconds. If they're aware of this, cool, keeper the line to the trees. Like, they don't even want to fight the Anti-Mage, because how do you do it? He's got spell block, he's got mana style dodge. They don't have anywhere near enough lockdown for this, but with Roshan up, we now have a center point. EHOME scout out the fact that he's alive.
And it's so hard to kill him because look at the amount, like, what are the stuns you have? Yeah, sure, you have a Rubik, but you always have to be afraid of getting counterspelled. Not to mention, like, the only way to safely stun kill AM is a Ravage into Jugult, because that's another spell that can be counterspelled. And I don't think you want to give Anti-Mage an Omni Slash and waste your own cooldown.
Yeah, you don't want that. Anti-Mage is going to push in the top lane once again. So yeah, the TPs have to come back, and it's Ramses. Like, their global presence just doesn't exist. This Anti-Mage is just running all the side lanes so well.
It's a great performance. And you can see, as soon as he recognizes that he's forced Ramses into the top area of the map, he sweeps, he shrines, he kills this camp, and now he's going to control those bottom bounty runes. And it's just such a good job. He's keeping VP hemmed in on their side of the map.
Maybe the reason, too, why VP are coming out. Like, Pasha is the one coming in for these 25-minute bounty runes. But then again, the rest of his team was with him, and now they've backed off. So he'll be there for the rune. Ooh, that's a quick time for Pasha. And then he taunts as he rolls away.
They saw him coming in there, and they knew he was alone. You've got to assume VP's out of smokes. We've seen so many of them. I'm very surprised they weren't a little more aggressive there. That was a free kill.
The illusion of ego that he had sitting in the pit from before instantly scouts out what's going on. ASD is going to continuously pressure in the bottom lane. His TP's on cooldown for 25 seconds, so Ego, is he going to delay this? Faith Beyond found the Keeper of the Light in the back line. Solo is able to get the Ignis off. He'll create a little bit of space, but he still goes down. Buyback in, Ravage creates a little bit more space. Lion can't get him. The Burning Army is in the pit, but the Aegis Symbol is already in the hands of Ramses. Ego is dying, but the Anti-Mage, he's gone inside the base. He's taking the tier 3 tower up on the top lane while the fight continues around Roshan. Faith Beyond on the run, does not have the movement speed, and even the space clear from Innocent Stun will not be enough. But how much damage can Anti-Mage do? Not enough, it seems. He blinks into the tree lines and TPs away to safety all the way back to the fountain.
Yeah. He's got to be more careful with his Manta usage. He saw Solo, but used Manta to try and maximize his DPS, and then just got blinding lighted. So now his illusions are all missing, and they're dying to the blast upcoming, and he doesn't get any real damage on the racks. And that was possibly a bit questionable from EHOME, because if the Ravage popped on a solo Bristle. You got to assume that if AM's there, maybe he can help out. But, you know, this is the way they want to play the game, and I'm probably completely incorrect because in reality, the AM advantage we only really feel because he's doing so much damage on creeps and on side lanes.
Yep.
How do you fight into Jug Dusa both hitting you when you consider that the rest of your team are pretty much a bunch of creeps?
Yeah. You can't fight into them, but like even when you pick off the supports, I always thought like Virtus.pro was going to be weaker. And it seems like VP are always taking these fights with like, it's still 4v4 because the AM's not there.
And they're always smoked. This is, again, like solo. Like, they just smoked to walk up the lane, and now they're unsmoked. I mean, it's just so strange to me. Maybe it's like a mental thing. VP, like, they get smoked, and like, all right, now we're going to be
they're looking for the pick, or maybe they're using it to scan out the clinks. Try and find him with the
good
smoke.
Point, good point.
Now Ramses, they're going to push up. Remember the Aegis Immortal, they've got to get through this. And AM hasn't pushed the sideline out far enough. Now they're doing this push without Ravage available. Burning Army comes in from the clink, so the bonus damage starting to arrive. Roger's already gone down. Ramses still stands its ground against that tower. The stun control. Now with the Stone Gaze, Ramses got extra life thanks to one charge. That's why ASD has to blink away and out of range of that Ignis. Clink's trying to get rid of it himself. Doesn't do enough damage. Not fast enough at least. Now they do, but Faith Beyond, the Avalanche Omni Slash just comes off the Juggernaut. You know he's going to get all his life back, even if he dies after it, but the Blinding Light pushes Ego back down the hill and in range of the Ramsey spin. The Rax will remain alive for the moment. The mid's already gone down previously, but where's the defense available? Tiny is TPing in. And they jump in. The Basher over on the Juggernaut. Remember, he's still got the Aegis Immortal. No one. He'll consume the cheese, so the life back up for the Dusa. The bottom Rax is still up for the moment. And it looks like they're going to be safe about this. VP's backing out.
Yeah, AM's running into a lot of mana issues. He's forced to spam Blink Counterspell so much he wasn't able to get that Mana Void off in the Dusa before the cheese was popped. They're going to make a beeline now for that top DD, it looks like, on the side of Virtus.pro. You don't have Aegis any longer, but both cores suffering because they've both purchased a Butterfly, thus they aren't really able to deal too much damage to each other. Looks like they might conserve this double damage and maybe wait for Ravage. Ravage is up. They've got the Blink. I fear for the Bristleback, though. I don't know if I agree with his item decisions because he's got absolutely no armor outside of the +5 from the Crimson Guard.
You know, he's trying to pick it up now.
Yeah. I feel like a casual medallion could have been so sick for him this game.
I like this call from Virtus.pro. The line's been drawn. Go straight down mid and then rotate towards the bottom lane. The double damage of the Juggernaut will allow him to mop up these racks so quickly, and this time they fight with Ravage.
Yeah, and look at this. They found the Bristle as well.
Yep. So Juggernaut starts it off. No fortification available.
Oh, that's an Orchid.
Comes in with the Avalanche and Toss. And Juggernaut, he's still got the Aegis Immortal, and he already burns it. Solo's on the run, back out through the mid. The Burning Army doing some decent work, keeping Pasha's Blink Dagger on cooldown, so he can't just jump in for a quick Ravage. But while Juggernaut spins away, he'll go up high ground. Pasha even blinks away from the attack of Bristle. And the Clinks.
ASD TP'd a little early, a little reactionary. He sees the DD and immediately feels like he's got to be back in base. But that was the scenario. Look up top. You know, if he's in that base, he's threatening a Rax potentially, and this is exactly what VP wants. Sure, you're not getting any more of an advantage, but you want to ensure that you're not getting split pushed. And here comes the smoke from EHOME. Remember, Orchid is up on the Tiny, and there's no way for Jug to cleanse it.
It's a good scan at least, but of course they know it anyway. They're attacking into the Dire Shrine. No way to pop that off as it now goes down. Avalanche Toss catches out on two. Now the Ravage pops as well under the cover of the Ignis. Everyone from EHOME cannot go anywhere in the Omni Slash. It was traded off. Anymage was able to spell block it out, and now blinks away to safety. It's only a 1-for-1 trade off. The mana burn, however, so low. Bristleback's got nothing left in the tank. Clinks is on the run, almost actually I thought was going to catch that Impale style from Rubik.
Yep.
But they're looking to finish up the racks. Fortification is available, however, because they do not have the creep wave with them. Anymage is regenerating as quickly as he possibly can, but here comes Virtus.pro. No Ravage available, no Aegis Immortal, no Omni Slash, but it may not matter when the damage is high enough. The Clinks is looking to be a target, but he goes back into the Invis as AM chases after the Dusa, looking to burn off her own mana. Ramses, now the Mana Starladder is down, his own spin, back up the hill. ASD, he's got enough for a blink back to base, but he's got nothing left in the tank. Virtus.pro still looking to beat through this Rax. The creep waves arrived, so no more backdoor regeneration. Both in the mid as well as the bottom, but no, they don't use the glyph. They'll have to look for the fights now. EHOME jumping forward. They're going to use Pasha. He is just going to be the sacrificial lamb, but they know they want more. The Mana Void already consumed. No one will finish his TP out. Oh, wait, that was a very long TP, and it clipped ASD. But
They lose a Rax for that, Toby. They had Glyph available. I've got to assume VP did not have the staying power to hang out on that high ground were that shield to come off. And, man, just very strange plays from EHOME, really. I don't think that they needed to play this game in the manner that they have. They're now down the 2 Rax, and the main concern is, if you look at their other cores, their Bristle and their Tiny, what's their impact now?
Yep.
How do you do anything to a Jug and Dusa that have now acquired this much farm?
It's like the Tiny is just trying to, like, he can't even jump in and get the support kills.
Yeah,
But even if he jumps in to try and like get someone out of position by tossing them back, he doesn't have the life because he went for this Orchid build, not a BKB build.
It's more, I feel like they're not targeting the right heroes. You aren't going to be able to 100-0 a Jug anymore if your teammates aren't immediately able to follow up. We're talking like AM's blinking in, there's a finger, there's the clinks, everything. You've got to kill the Coddle. How many times have we seen a fight just completely swing the way of VP the moment that Ignis Fatus goes down?
Yep. We're going to quick pause out from EHOME, give them a little bit of time to maybe regain their thoughts.
Or not.
Or not, yep. We'll just keep going. So at least it's this Klinks has the ability to get some solo kills. He's going to attempt it right now over on the Keeper of the Light. Burning Army does not care about the Innis. Omni Slash is out. They find the kill over on the Klinks, and Lion needs some space. They've got a little bit more support rotating over. That's because you had Faith Beyond, but then again the Ravage, it clips over on the Bristleback, but Ravage is down, and ASD gets in the middle of the fight. Stonegaze is out the BKB. Well, Anime thought he was protected, but no, ASD, he blinks out. He does have time to escape.
That's 2 fights in a row. AM's caught the Stone Gaze. That can't happen.
Avalanche toss once more, looking for the support kill, but the Eul Scepter protects the Rubik. So now it's Tiny, who's in way too deep. Faith Beyond on the retreat, but Juggernaut right on his tail. Starts the spin. He turns for another Avalanche. Can't toss away Anthony. Tiny's dead. Anti-Mage, he wasn't able to get back, at least potentially. No, he can't even kill the Courier. He just flew past.
Yeah.
Virtus.pro want to ensure this game by taking this last lane of Rax. Solo is on the way. Mega creeps against EHOME. No Burning Army, no extra damage. Pasha's getting the mana drained out of him. That's a hell of a lot of damage being done. And, well, they have Mana Void available, but who do they want to go on? The Rubik's being burnt out. The spill damage, not enough. But you've still got Megas for Virtus.pro. If they can get out of this with only 1 or 2 deaths, they're still very happy. And the 1 death is already the Rubik.
Yep, you take that. It's Megas, right? I mean, that's pretty much game right there. And unspoken hero in this game, Pasha. Gush is -7 armor in combination with his medallion that is also -7 armor. He has consistently selected the target for his Juggernaut and effectively applied a TA meld Deso hit of -armor. And then, you know, what Ramses just attacks it until it dies and he moves on to the next one. Megas completed, and VP, they start a little shaky, but look like they might close this this one out pretty easily.
They look towards the next Roshan. He's a minute away from spawn time, and that will be the extra insurance they require because that's double Ravage. Remember, this is the 3rd Roshan. Refresher Shan's then available. The Cheese and the Jaegers, you already know who they go to with the Deucer and the Juggernaut, respectively.
Yeah.
So the only choice you have from EHOME now is to try and create enough space. The Abyssal Blade can come in from the Anti-Mage. You give him a little bit more control. In fact, it is now up. Watch those buybacks. It will take one hell of a fight. Anti-Mage is still short by 1,300. Buyback on cooldown for the Bristleback. I still don't feel the impact of this line. Even though Innocence hasn't died, he still can't get to the front lines.
And problematic as well is that there's a butterfly on both the Jug and the Deucer.
This is a nice kill if they can get the kill over on Pasha. The Burning Army is already there, but so much support from Virtus.pro also available. Ravage is not expended. Tiny is dead for another good 50 seconds. They were battling because they knew the battle would come for the 35-minute runes, but ugh.
Yeah. This is the concern. When you're look at the heroes of EHOME. Who buys MKB? How do you actually...
Oh, this is a nicer target. This is a lot nicer. Blink forward, control the Deucer, burn through her, Mana Void. There's your finger! Well done, well done. A finger is now used and plus 50. Actually, he's got plus 100 now, but that's not the point.
Alas, Megas have already been acquired. And if you look, I mean, you can
Remember
deal
what
with
the Monty
them,
Python boys always say.
What was that?
Always look on the bright side of life.
True.
And also no one expects a Spanish Inquisition.
Oh, well, that is, I was going to say, they've said a lot of things.
Technically, that's a quote from Sliding Doors.
None of our viewers will understand that.
No, they won't. I'm sorry, everybody. My references never work. Let's talk about dark matter instead.
Never mind. I'm not gonna comment because that would draw.
Not even gonna grace
We get
it.
into a discussion and then everyone will be
Keeper of the
upset.
light. Oh, Solo. He's going to buy back. He put the Ignis down on top of Roshan. He was using the Blinding Light to try and delay the attack of EHOME into Roshan. Now Tidehunter totally out of mana. He's got a Gem of True Sight on him. He's trying to bring him in range of the Shrine. Is there enough regeneration to at least give him a Ravage? Pasha, they're just staying right on top of him. And now that's Tidehunter down. 54 seconds on the sideline. The gem is gathered up by the Clinks.
Meanwhile.
And EHOME are going for Roshan. Ego is doing a solo defense inside the Dire base. But this is big for EHOME. It's stopping the double Ravage from being available for Virtus.pro.
Yeah.
But they're still TPing over. Clinks is watching the TPs. He sees Roger arriving.
Yeah, in the meantime, Bristleback just playing
There's your
line
jump.
wars.
In he goes. Juggernaut instantly stunned up, but they go for the fight. They don't look to finish up Roshan. Innocence, he'll be the only one that cops the Omni Slash. And now no one with the Stone Gaze under the Burning Army. They're looking to fight. That really does almost no damage. Ramsey still just spin and run back over. Abyssal Blaze stuns out. You can say goodbye to your Keeper of the Light.
In the meantime, in the base, still Bristleback against numerous creeps.
ASD's going to try and finish this. Clinks is buying back. I think he's got enough time. He's going to pick up the Aegis quickly and then everything else that comes along with it. Item management as Juggernaut. He got in close, lost all of his mana, jumping forward with the Aegis match. Anti-Mage, get the hell out of there. He's got the Aegis, the Immortal. Switch the cheese in. Yep, he'll do exactly that. They're holding the Ravage for the moment. He's short of the mana, so another jump forward from the Anti-Mage. Damn, he takes so much damage so quickly, but with the help from Clinks and Lion, they drain out the mana of the Medusa, and now it's no one. He'll take the fall. No buyback for a minute and a half. Of course, you can keep up in the top corner of the screen if you wanted the Bristleback, who's just never-ending defense of the base. He is the wall they built to keep Radiant out. The Tier 4 tower somehow is barely alive.
All right, here's the big thing, though. Oh, he's actually going to go bots instead of the MKB. I thought he might finish that first on the Anti-Mage. He's got the Refresher Shard in backpack, which means double BKB, Manta, and Abyssal, but he's having a lot of mana issues in these fights.
He can't even... How does he switch the Refresher Shard in during the fight?
This is where what we have a big issue with because, you know, it's a fact that most players play worse once they have more than 6 items. Okay, notably me, you, Toby. You know, we get to a point where all of a sudden you're too wealthy, you have too much stuff, and all of a sudden you end up swapping items in and out, and before you know it, you've died. And
I only have 3 items on hotkey.
Yeah.
Everything else must be passive. There's a rapier.
There's a DD.
There is a rapier queued up inside the Anti-Mage.
You're going to have a Radiance as well on the Bristleback pretty soon just to help him continue slaying creeps. It's like, it feels like his whole team is leaking, Toby, and he's just here trying desperately to keep them alive.
What can I do to hold the line? Still 10 seconds before Medusa is up. Nice Observer Ward already down, watching the Anti-Mage. They'll get rid of it quickly. And Keeper of the Light, he'll put down a fresh one.
Did we? This is a game. Like
it is actually,
this is a game.
This is a game. There's a 3K gold advantage going the way of EHOME. The swing has been rather sharp, and we actually have the cat ears. We have the proper cat ears in the experience graph.
Meanwhile, we have a roller coaster.
Oh, out they jump. They put the Lincoln Sphere on the Juggernaut. They're looking just to put Ramses into a fight. Omni Slash and kill one person, but he cannot find... Well, actually, the Clinks will end up finding Ramses out by himself. It's the 40-minute bounty runes. The Clinks just walks in. He's thinking about taking...
No Lincolns.
And now, well, the jump in from ASD, holding Ramses in position. No, he'll break free. They Lotus Orb him up, and then the BKB trigger. What's going to be stolen? It's going to be a stun. The Burning Army will be taken care of, but AM just goes to pushing in the top lane. Ravage was not expended, but Juggernaut's pretty dry of mana. No, never mind. He's got Keeper of the Light.
It's going to come down. You know, VP, they're going to need to win one more fight if they want to win this game. Like, the Megas don't really matter just because of the Bristleback factor. Sure, I mean, this is what he's done the whole game, right? He just held the line. A regular Gimli just standing on high grounds, now desperately attempting to just keep pushing waves. AM, obviously, with those bots, he'll be able to do the same and be able to rejoin his team whenever he desires.
They're coming down for Ego right now. Like, Ego has to start backing up before he's finished killing off this wave. ASD's in the neighborhood as well. Oh, all right, Ego. He's going to take it for the team. The Radiants will arrive, but he's isolated, and he's got the entire lineup of Virtus.pro run up. In the meanwhile, in the back lines, ASD jumps in. It's a 1-for-1 trade-off. He'll take out Solo. Avalanche toss. That's a lot of extra damage when Ghost was meant to be protecting the Rubik, so ASD can go after the Medusa. Not the target he wants, however. They want the Juggernaut. Ravage trying to create a little bit of time to kill off the Animage, but Spell Block, Blink TP away. Bonus support's down. Oh, Clinks. He is... No, there's no follow-up. No, we're good. We're good. Everyone breathe.
Wow. Bots 2 finished on AM.
The tier 4 tower's finally dead.
That's fine.
This is what happens when Bristle dies. You can't take a day off on the border wall.
No, you can't. And it's a really tough game to read at this point because Roche isn't really an objective for another 6 minutes or so. But you can feel, I think, VP's lack of smokes. Last 10-15 minutes, they really haven't been able to get aggressive out on the map. They lost the gem, and all of a sudden there's all this dire vision placed around the map, and they have no way to elude it and actually find an opening to kill these EHOME heroes. And
they even lost the gem twice because the Medusa was able to regather it, and then she ended up getting picked off. Courier Snipe, that'll be a little harder to get reinforcements, but too fast. Sentry Ward is down, and Clinks run.
Yep, they have the MKB finished on the Medusa as well. As soon as he gets up to level 25, Splitshot uses modifiers. That's going to be really effective, and all of a sudden, that AM, he will die in the Ravage.
Yep. Is there something else, though, that comes in from the Dire side, also for their talents? Like, we've got Searing Arrow that can multi-shot. I don't know if that works with Burning Army, because you are meant to take the bonus damage from Searing Arrows.
I have no idea.
Yeah, this is still a hero.
That's not an interaction I've ever seen.
This is still a hero that we're learning on the whole new things, like with the new abilities.
Yeah. The problem with AM, like I am not an AM expert by any means, but I feel like there's a flaw in his build somewhere. He's running out of mana in every single fight, and with the Mana Void cooldown at level 25, like he's not able to cast enough spells. Like he's always out of mana for this Mana Void.
Well, is this also because you... Oh, goodbye. Say farewell to the Clinks, walked under a Sentry Ward, and now Gem has been regathered by the Keeper of the Light.
Yep. Plus 1 second Omni Slash duration up on the Jug now. He just hit level 25, 1000 ping. We've got some lag concerns. 43 minutes and 15 seconds into the game.
It'll be okay. I believe in the power of cables and internet.
It's cool. It's been a cool game. You know, this is a game 3, I think, deserving of these two teams and what they've done so far. We had 2 stomps, one each.
Oh, this is Kroll putting up this. This is like all the dead marks for the average net worth of Lion in this patch.
I mean, he had a rough start. Okay?
It was real rough. And he's never had what most Lions get, which is this like kill secure on Finger of Death.
Mm-hmm. I mean, 2 stacks at 43 minutes is not what you're looking for as a Lion.
No.
And I just find it difficult to see EHOME winning engagements without a mistake from VP because they have 3 different ways to reset fights. They've got the Coddle, Faddis, they've got the Ravage, they've got the Deuce ult. And the Deuce ult specifically can just be used to deny the Animage's BKB, which is now only way down to 7 seconds.
Yep.
How does AM actually deal enough damage?
He's buying an MKB.
What does he replace?
Yeah, like he can't swap out the Manta style because he kind of needs that too.
Yep.
And he can't remove the Battle Fury because they're up against Megas. He needs to have his cleave. So the MKB is completed. Like unless he wants to switch out his BTs. That's
gotta be it.
That's the only other thing. And just backpack it. Backpack the BTs. But then he's gonna be really sad he didn't get that extra blink range.
It's just a tough game. EHOME, it's just really difficult for either team to make things happen. I think VP is making the right move here. Their lanes are in a pretty good position, and now it's just time to walk up the high ground and dare EHOME to make something happen because there's no buyback on Clinks. This is a 4-on-5.
Keep in mind that they do still have the cheese. So Tani is still walking around with the cheese from the last Roshan. So there's some level of like item advantage that does come from Roshan in the next fight.
I suppose. I think VP could capitalize on their lead they have here, though. I understand being a little hesitant, but you already got that big pickoff.
Yeah.
And if they were keeping a timer, they'd know his buyback is still on cooldown. They do grab the Illusion Rune, though. That'll ensure that multiple lanes are going to be pushed. This isn't bad. Like, VP, you're in a position, I think they're still winning this game 95 to 99% of the time. It's just don't make that big critical error that throws the game.
They're coming in. Ego knows his job. Defend the mid lane up against the Megas. They've already burned the Crimson Guard as well. Remember, that is going to be protecting the Dire Ancient.
That Mystic Snake, man, holy crap, it's still so much
they
mana.
should jump in. And the follow-up stun. Great double stun, actually connecting onto the Titan, but the Ignis pulls them in with a Ravage connection. Ramses just hits the perfect back line, Omni Slash. And now they want the big kill. If they can bring down the tank, if they can bring down the Bristleback, they can break through, but there's not enough heroes left. It's Solo and Ramses
in trouble.
on the retreat. Innocence actually has a Blink Dagger, moves forward, gains the stun, and they'll burn through the life of the Juggernaut. 4 heroes down, the Dire Ancients alive, and Virtus.pro, they pushed the issue, but did they push too hard? I fear there's some tearage.
I don't... They went for the right target. EHOME, they've given up on trying to kill Ramses at the start of fights. Just go for the Medusa because he's the only thing that can stop BKB targets from slaughtering his team. And if you just go straight for him, you can see he exploded. They used everything. And AM, thanks to that BKB protection, he's able to just completely ignore everything else that VP throws at him and gets the mana vote off to finish.
I actually cannot believe Lion was the only one who had to buy back from EHOME, and they didn't even use the cheese that's on Faith Beyond.
Yep.
Like,
they have the gold lead now, but
and now in a minute and 20 seconds, Roshan's going to spawn up.
bear in mind, it's still Megas.
It's still Megas.
It's still Megas.
Yep.
And you're in a position, I think that was the first mistake of VP. If they make 1 or 2 more, they will lose this game. EHOME, though, for the last 10-15 minutes, they've been that one miscue away from certainly watching their throne die. And
we see old school Tiny beat the crap out of buildings.
Yeah.
Gotta remember, he's really good at doing that.
Yeah, but, oh man, 55% mana steal on the Mystic Snake, by the way. We're wondering why Bristle and Tiny and AM always seem to be out of mana. Well, they catch one snake and it's very grim existence.
So do we have any new items that actually get picked up? Because we were looking at a potential Rapier in the quick buy of the Anti-Mage. So far, he hasn't done it. He's just finished the MKB and keeping it in the backpack.
Yep.
But he's still got 7.6k gold. We're going to reach, like, Moonshard consume time.
Yep.
There's 5.6k on a Tiny who's still got it. He's definitely got an item slot. That cheese doesn't have to sit there.
Bristle or Tiny has to buy AC. One of them has to. You've got enough gold on the Tiny, and Bristle does as well if he uses that plate mail for the Assault Cuirass, not the Lotus Orb, which I feel like you've just got to buy AC in this game. It's so big. Both teams have 3 cores solely reliant on physical damage. I think that AC could turn the tide.
Well, Roshan's up. The big man spawns. Both teams haven't scouted him just yet. But look at the Anti-Mage pushing in the top lane. Blinks into the trees and then just TP's out. But he's coming back onto Faith Beyond.
VP, I think you want Medusa to farm a bit more. He still doesn't have that level 25 talent and 6k gold and a magic wand still slotted. Yeah, he is not peaked.
Someone give this guy a tome. Faith Beyond's
they've
waiting.
got vision. They've
the
got vision.
Going to break Burning Army up the hillside with the Avalanche through to the back lines looking for Solo. The Ignis on the Graves position, but the Stone Gaze is really good. Lion dies instantly, but the Anti-Mage, they drop him. He has to buy back. There's no other choice. Tiny will die as well. They're looking over towards Roshan. Rod just scouts it out. Maybe he can get a solo kill from Clinks onto this Rubik. He's got the Gem of True Sight. Roshan starting up. There's the AM buyback.
Just so much gold saved up on the side of EHOME.
Wait, he had a TP scroll, so he TP'd to the front of the Ancient. Okay, yeah, this is Roshan going the way of Virtus.pro. That was really anticlimactic.
Yeah, and now it's double Ravage, and that whole fight is just because you don't initiate on the Medusa. He just pops Stone Gaze, AM catches the lift, doesn't get the BKB off, he's just dead. You cannot catch a stun as Anti-Mage in this game. You're far too squishy, and it's the big issue with the hero. If you're not able to take out that Dusa right away, I don't think you can teamfight it into the Virtus.pro lineup, ever. And I strongly disagree with the holding of so much gold on the Bristle and the Tiny. They were both 6k plus in that engagement.
If they push really quickly, the Anti-Mage can't get back in time. He just BT towards the top lane. They pinged it out really quickly. He's got 30 seconds where his BTs are on cooldown. So no one just has to run forward and start the attack. The creep wave's coming in with them. So yep, okay, Mystic Snake will bounce mana both between Ego and no one. Anti-Mage has returned to the fight. They start on the Dusa, but then the Ravage will connect. That is number 1. He actually doesn't have the refresh shard. Actually, it was number 2 when you think about it. Anti-Mage is dead. GG, well played. It is all the way of Virtus.pro. EHOME really starting to crack under some high-pressure moments. And it allows Virtus.pro to just push through. It wasn't by much that they took this game.
Yep, for sure. Dota's a game of inches and seconds. So much comes back to that initial failed kill on the Juggernaut and the lack of glyph on that second bottom racks when it went down. EHOME, they played a great game. I really think that these two teams are both going to be top 8 at this tournament. And, you know, very impressive performance. Great job to VP bouncing back after that really rough game 1.
Yeah. Yeah, they needed that. So Virtus.pro will take the victory. We'll head to our panel before we go into our next series.